Broadcasting live from inside the Trojan horse itself. This is Frame Rate with Kyle Pendleton, and today we have a very special guest, but we'll introduce him in just one moment because this is the first episode of Frame Rate that we have recorded since the release of the first episode. And I just want to thank everybody for the tremendous support of the pod and all of the comments that we have gotten directly to AC and I. I'm just getting phone calls. I'm getting texts. People are approaching me at work with just the direct of, why would you ever say that about Goodfellas? I've gotten that no less than 10 times. And I just want to tell everybody that, I think it's a pretty good movie. I wasn't trying to hate too much, but you know what? I also stand by what I said. And now, in true Christopher Nolan fashion, we're bringing on a guest who has been on the pod before, but that episode has not released yet. His name is Andrew Bellomo.
Yo, how we doing?
And he is a Cyclops, little known fact.
I'm what?
You're Cyclops.
Okay, I'll take that. Whatever the fuck that means.
But yeah, so how you doing, Andrew? Are you excited?
I'm doing great, AC's so hospitable, he just gave me a cup of tea. I feel like he's performing some Zeus law on me right now.
He really is. Because you might be a god in disguise. If you were a god, what god would you be?
Who would I be? Definitely Athena, I think. Yeah.
All right, yes. And as Andrew has mentioned, our producer AC Hoffman, the goat of the pod. He's the reason it all sings.
The undisputed champion of Burbank.
And North Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Basically a king. He is comparable to John Bernthal in many, many, many ways.
How so?
Well, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Yeah. Okay.
That's actually one of the categories we're going to do. And if you haven't picked it up by now, this is a podcast all dedicated to the Odyssey. It is our first time tackling a new release, so we got a little bit of a different format for y'all, but it'll be very fun. But I just want you to know that if you're not planning on seeing the Odyssey or haven't seen the Odyssey, you should come back to this podcast later. You should definitely listen to this podcast, but you should come back later because we are going to go into full spoilers. And if you're saying, well, I don't think I'm going to see it, so I'm just going to listen to the pod. Before we even get into our thoughts, our overall recommendation is please see the movie. Andrew, would you agree with that?
Yeah. It's a good time. We can say that.
Yeah. But before we get into our Odyssey cast, I have one question for Andrew.
What's up?
Our hypothetical, because normally we do a few warm-up questions like, what's the last movie you saw? But for this one, it's The Odyssey. What's the last movie you rewatched? And I already know for him, it's The Odyssey, because we both saw it twice to prepare for the podcast. So we're jumping straight into the hypothetical. Andrew, you're in a battle with your mortal enemy.
Okay.
They scurry off. And they're outside of your house or whatever. They leave something behind. What could they leave behind that you would take into your house? Like, how could you get Trojan horsed?
That's a great question. So I guess like doorbell rings. There's just an item there, and I take it into my home.
Yeah, and you know it's probably from like in the Trojans. They knew it was from the Greeks, the guys that didn't like them. Like this box is from your mortal enemy,
Charlie. So is there humans in this box? Like does it have to be big enough to like house like an entire Trojan army?
Well, well then I hope you wouldn't bring it in your house. But I don't know. Take the question out of your will. It could be big. It could be small. It could be poisonous.
Yes. Whether it's like explosives or something. Yeah. You know what? I have two roommates. Steph gets Amazon Prime packages like every day. If there's a huge Amazon Prime package like for Steph, I would just take it in and be like, I wouldn't even think about it. Yeah, and then I'd be toast. It would be a bad situation.
So you're saying really they could just leave anything?
If it's in the confines of an Amazon box, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the way I see it. If my mortal enemy left food outside my place, I would not touch it, no matter how bad I wanted the food.
Of course not. You can't.
Because it's poisonous.
Yeah.
If my mortal enemy left me something that I think looked like it could be a bomb, I wouldn't touch it. However, if my mortal enemy left me a Trojan horse popcorn bucket or any form of the Trojan horse, the way I would look at it was I would go, well, they can't be doing the same trick. They can't be asking me to bring this into my house. They must do this because they want me to leave it outside. And I would overthink it, and I would bring that into the house. So I would just get Trojan horsed.
You're fucked. Yeah.
So, but before the pod, Andrew and I discussed of what he would do if he wanted to Trojan horse somebody else. And I would really love to hear your answer on that.
Well, I was going to say, I was trying to think of something that you could like bring into someone's house and there's like no suspicion. So like, you could go like a PS5, you could fill that up with explosives, maybe like a big, like obnoxiously large casserole, like, but what I was really thinking about was my mortal enemy, which in a different world where my mortal enemy isn't Charlie, I'd bring my friend Charlie over to Trojan horse somebody because he's a tall guy. He can fit a lot of things under him. He would have to take one for the team. It'd probably be like a suicide bomb situation, but I think it'd be clean operation.
Well, yeah. Well, in this regard,
also
you take out two mortal enemies at once.
Yes. Two mortal enemies at once, and also he's a very approachable, easygoing guy. Like he can chop it up with anybody. So like, if I were to bring my friend over and be like, oh, I have to go out, Charlie, feel free to make yourself at home. I'm pretty sure it would go smoothly. And then once I'm like 2 miles out of the radius, I'll have my remote control to blow him up and take everyone down with him.
And just for listeners' sake, Charlie is Andrew's best friend and boyfriend of Andrew's roommate. And
one of those statements is correct.
One of those three. It's also his mortal enemy and it's a coworker. And he's actually the one that came up with this hypothetical question for today. So just want to give him a shout out. So shout out to the legendary Charlie Bernstein. But now, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to talk the Odyssey.
Beautiful. Let's do it, man. We're here. We did it. We fucking did it, man.
We made it. We survived from Oppenheimer to the Odyssey. We didn't die. It was an accomplishment at times. There was things going on in the world. I don't know if you heard.
No, I haven't, actually.
Oh, no.
Can you please enlighten me? What's been going on?
There's this diarrhea virus.
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? I feel like if I were to get this virus, I wouldn't even know. I don't even know that. You can cut that out, AC.
I think we have to keep that. So before we get into the game that we're going to play, or the discussion that we're going to have on this podcast, let's get some overall thoughts of the Odyssey. Andrew, since you're the guest, and this is, we adhere to Zeus's law here, as they said in the movie 453 times. I would love for you to go first.
Sure. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's just a great movie. I'm a big Nolan head, and I was a huge fan of Oppenheimer, so the expectations for this were just skyrocketing. But I really think he delivered on all fronts. I think front to back, I have my problems with the movie, but I feel like overall, there isn't too much to complain about. It's just you can tell how much hard work and just how much passion was put into and thought was put into every frame of this movie. And I think everybody pretty much killed it, and I was super happy with it.
Okay, so because this is going to be a great segue into our first category, but I would like to know, Andrew, you said he killed on all fronts. What are the most important fronts to you? Like when you're watching a Christopher Nolan movie specifically.
Yes. I think immersion with Christopher Nolan, and I think this is Chris's most immersive film to date. I think he really brings you on the ground level with these Trojans, experiencing all these supernatural monsters in front of them, but he does it in a way that feels grounded and real and intense. And I feel like his entire career, he's just been striving for the most immersive experience. And something about walking out of that theater, which by the way, I dehydrated myself for before because I did not want to pee during that movie. It was a 3-hour movie, but I felt fucking exhausted, sweaty. I was hot. And I think it really did feel like I was there, and I think that's the biggest accomplishment. So through the pretty close up cinematography, the abrasive sound design, and just the performances and how real all the reactions felt from the people experiencing these crazy heightened things, I was pretty immersed. It felt like I was there with the crew, getting tousled around and getting fucked over by Poseidon here and there.
I think that's fantastic. And going along with that, with immersion being the factor at the top of your mind, is time to enter. It's not really a game, but our parameters of discussion that we're going to do for new releases, which is we're going to do 5 sets of 5. So instead of ranking 5 movies at a time, we're going to dive so deep. We're going to get 25 things out about this one movie. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick together our cast and crew MVPs. So you could pick a cast member, you could pick a crew member, you could pick a whole department, and we're going to rank 5. Andrew's going to go first. He can pick number 1, or he can put his person at number 5, whichever he feels like, if he wants to defer the number 1 spot. And we're going to go back and forth until we have 5 MVPs. And the one thing that we will note for this movie, we all know Christopher Nolan. So he is not in consideration. So it's our 5 cast and crew MVPs outside of Christopher Nolan himself. So Andrew, who do you want to talk about first?
So this is like anybody who's like touched the film.
Yes. Including the QC operators.
You know what? Shout out their data traffic team. I feel like okay, no. Mine, that would be silly. Fuck the data traffic team. They don't deserve any respect. My number 1 would be Ludwig Göransson, the guy who composed the score to this. Kyle, I think we're watching a goat unfold in front of us. Like, it's been beautiful seeing this man's work just get better and better and better with each release. I mean, Sinners last year, Oppenheimer before. This guy's on a tear. And the thing that's so genius about his score is that you don't even really notice it's happening like as the movie's like going on. But his score elevated so many scenes and like created so much tension. And I was just blown away. I mean, this man can experiment with so many instruments I've never heard of, but it just sounds so cool and distinct. And that's what I love about him, is that you never know what his sound is going to be. He doesn't have a distinct style. It's really hard to pin him down. And yeah, I just was completely like blown away by his score. I've been listening to it all day. The song Odysseus on Spotify has been on loop like in my car.
That one is also my favorite of his tracks, and that one, for people who have seen the movie, which I hope is everyone listening, is this track that plays while Odysseus is talking to Penelope and explaining what actually happened at Troy.
Yes, which is one of the best scenes of the film.
And we will 100% get to that later.
For sure.
When I divulge more of my thoughts. However, I want to give Andrew and agree to his statement, and I'll match on Ludwig Göransson, and I'm going to say probably the biggest claim that I've made on this podcast so far.
I'm ready.
Ludwig Göransson has, in his 10 years of career, while no one will ever touch this composer in terms of quality and in terms of consideration to the general public, I will say that I think Ludwig Göransson over the last 10 years has experimented with more genres of music and types of instruments than John Williams did in his entire career.
Oh my God.
Like, if you just think about it, because he does beats for Childish Gambino. He did the Sinners music, which combined like a lot of old Southern style music with like regular film composition. And even in that one big scene, it had like the trap beat.
Yes.
And then there's Mandalorian and Grogu, where he basically did like techno stuff for like a couple sequences. There's this movie where he recreated, his team. I don't think he built these instruments by hand, but the team recreated 3,000-year-old instruments that are not playable to make them playable, to find the music for this movie, and then it was good. Like it's completely insane.
Awesome. Yeah, it's haunting. It's, AC, edit in a dap up sound effect. I'm gonna dap this man up because I had this conversation with my boy. I went a heated debate about John Williams or Ludwig, and of course, John Williams, begrudgingly he's the GOAT but he's really good at creating like a fanfare or like a sticky tune that catches in your head. Ludwig can create a world. You know what I mean? Like it's like an all encompassing sound, and it's really like intangible, like what he's like doing. It's like the way he uses bass and just like, I don't know. It's so textured, it's so layered, and it's just it's incredible.
It really is truly insane. So now it's my turn to pick number 2 for MVPs outside of Christopher Nolan, and the person that I want to go with is the whole department, and a company actually. But I'm gonna go with Hoyt van Hoytema and IMAX. The fact that this is, as the advertisement will tell you, the first movie shot completely in 70mm IMAX. And Andrew and I actually do disagree on what I'm about to say, is that for me, it was so satisfying to have a movie that was that big the entire time. I truly despise when aspect ratios change. It really bothers me to no end. People tell me I'm a fake film fan. I think hosting this podcast means I'm obviously not. Andrew loves the big change, as he can explain for himself in a second. But the real look, the actual on film, the fact that so much was captured in camera and it was just blown up to be that big, I think there's no movie that each individual frame, even if it's just like a random shot of Matt Damon as Odysseus looking at the water, just conveys scale and epicness. I think inherently the way they did it, the most epic movie ever made. And now I'm not going to claim that it feels always like the most epic movie ever made. I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. There's Ben-Hur out there. There's 10 Commandments, blah, 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 blah. But I think just each individual frame with how literally big it is just imposes that feeling. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. Hoyt did a great job, minus a few focus pulls. I don't know if you noticed, AC. There's some rough focus pulls.
Oh, there's one really bad with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. But we'll excuse that because I can't even imagine how hard it was to film this. But honestly, I kind of like the imperfections because it kind of reminds you that this is just like a real movie made by real people. You know what I mean? And like it's kind of fun seeing like some things go through the cracks a little bit.
And my other two notes about Hoyt, I mad respect anyone whose first name is basically half of their last name. Like, it's like if I knew someone named like Penny Pendleton, or like if Andrew knew someone named Bellomo. Like, it's like really, I guess AC would know someone named Hoffman, which is a way less likely of someone to actually exist. Amanda Hoffman. Yeah, that's true. But also the fact that IMAX had to invent a new camera for this movie, and also they created what they called the box or whatever. It had to block out the sound because IMAX cameras were too loud for dialogue scenes, so it ended up being like a 400-pound rig or whatever they said at times. And then they had to put mirrors on the camera so people could see each other.
Genius execution.
The amount of effort that took in is like, I think why they might have missed a couple focus pulls, but still the goal of it I think really delivers on screen. So Andrew, who you're going for number 3?
All right, number 3. Let me pull up my list. Hemish Patel.
Oh, nice.
You know, shout out my Indian brother. You know, I love Indian people. I'm Indian myself, so I don't want to make sure that's spoken. But Hemish Patel, you can say everything about everybody in this cast. You know, everybody's great. Actually, minus one person, which we'll get to. But I just think that he added a sense of like realness to the scenes that he were in. Because like, I feel like when you see Odysseus, Matt Damon on screen, he's so like stoic and kind of like this like otherworldly character. But Patel felt like one of us. He felt like just like the common man. And I feel like he was the glue to really kind of let everybody on that boat shine. And the reason I bring him up is that I don't see him being brought up enough among the media press tour and just people's reactions. So I think he gave a very underrated performance, and I think he deserves flowers. So, Hemish Patel, you get number 2.
Number 3. Shout out to Hemish Patel.
Oh yeah.
I also thought he was really great. My only thing is that I would wish that he was actually in the movie a little bit more. Now, it's not his story at all, but I think it's kind of interesting. The only detail we ever know about the guy is that he's a soldier, and in one flashback with Odysseus, he's smiling. But we just kind of know that they're homies. Okay, so for my number 4 choice, I'm going to take Homer, the original writer of the Odyssey.
What?
I mean, I think it's just very important
dead?
to the story. I mean, yeah, he's been dead for... He might not even have existed.
He's not a real person.
He might have been multiple people. But, you know, they needed the foundation for this story. And I do... And the reason I actually think Homer... He deserves number 4. He's not top 3. And the reason is because back 3,000 years ago...
He's not top 3?
No. Back 3,000 years ago...
Hemish Patel's above Homer?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And here's my reasoning. 3,000 years ago, they didn't really invent storytelling like we had. I mean, they had storytelling, but they didn't have, like, editing. They didn't really think about redundancy. And so a lot of things that I think this movie has are actually strong improvements on the actual act of reading the Odyssey. Because the act of reading the Odyssey is like every 5 pages, someone recaps the entire Odyssey to you. That's the only reason the book and the epic poem takes so long, is that Odysseus has to tell 437 people everything that happened to him before he gets back home to Ithaca. He's like the king of oversharing in the book. But Homer did lay the groundwork for having the sirens, the Cyclops, the return to Ithaca. He laid the foundation, and I think 3,000 years later, it is arguably improved upon. That's my take.
I agree. You know, I didn't even know that was like we were counting him, but I feel like he should low-key be number one. I mean, like,
Yeah, we said anyone that touched the movie, Andrew. So who do you got for number 5? Who do we want to round out this discussion with?
let's do Robert Pattinson. I think he's one of the best contemporary actors of all time. And I'll just say this really quick. I think that the lines he was given were kind of dry and just so bare bones. But the fact that he took that script and he elevated it to like what he like gave us was just amazing. I mean,
Get the spears.
So good. And I really think that he made the third act so fun and cathartic. Like such like a cartoonishly like villain guy to kind of like root against. I just think it was just an absolutely smasher of a performance. Robert Pattinson, you're one of my goats, man.
He is also one of my goats. I thought one of also the best aspects of his character was whoever's decision it was for him to have like poor fitting armor that had shorts was hilarious. Because
Brilliant.
at first I was like, why is he looking like this? But then it turns out it's just because he's a coward.
He is.
And he would never actually fight. And just throughout the whole movie, like in the first scene, he seems like the most threatening suitor. But by the end of the movie, you realize this guy, he might be the smartest one, but he's really the most sniveling, the most evil, just the worst, most cowardice dude that they have. And I thought that his performance channeled like prime Alan Rickman energy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like this guy, you know, he was Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter, but if he had turned out to be Snape someday, it would have been perfect. So shout out Robert Pattinson. I think he'll come up a little bit more in the pod. So those are our top 5 cast and crew MVPs for the Odyssey, and I'm sure we missed a few, but we'll get to more overall thoughts later. What I want to jump into now is ranking the side quests. So on Odysseus's journey home after Troy, so Troy does not count, Ithaca does not count. The trials and tribulations that he goes through.
That's awesome, AC. Looking at the pronunciation.
It looks like we have been pronouncing Antinous.
Antinous?
I don't know. I was looking up for myself.
So we're ranking the side quests. And Andrew,
Oh, okay.
I'm letting you go first again.
Oh, my
But this
God.
time we're starting from 5.
Oh, we are? Okay, wow, okay. The worst one is easily the whirlpool.
Hold on. There's more than 5 options. You don't have to put the worst one on there.
Wait, what are the...
So I'll give you the options.
Give me the skinny.
So we got Calypso, that's Charlize Theron.
Oh, we're counting her as her entire side. Okay.
Yeah, we got Cersei, Samantha Morton, the pig stuff.
Yes.
We got them on the Sun God's Island with the cattle.
Yes.
We have the storm that attacks the boat that kills the crew. We got the Cyclops. We got the giants. We got the sirens. We got the whirlpool and monster. And I think there's that 8. I think those are it.
All right. So I mean, my least favorite is probably the whirlpool, but I didn't realize there was more than 5. So I will probably put.
What's your problem with the whirlpool?
I was disappointed with the whirlpool because I just thought that it was not as grand and as epic as the other side quests, and it happened so fast. And I get why they had to make it happen fast because you could only fit 3 hours of a film onto a reel. So yeah, it was like 2 minutes long and you didn't really get to see much. And I thought there could have been a really cool sequence. But I will say for the 5th spot, let me put Calypso. Yeah, I understand like where it belongs to like service the story, but I was just a little underwhelmed by the performance by, you're gonna have to help me out.
Charlize Theron?
Charlize Theron, yes. I loved her in Mad Max, you know. I thought she was like incredible, but I agree with my friend Charlie. He brought this up where you get to that part of the movie and you kind of want to see more of the adventure and you just kind of get stuck over there. And it was a crazy reveal that he was stuck there for 7 years, but I felt that like it kind of slowed the pace down in a way that I wanted to keep moving. So I'll put that at 5. I understand why I had to be there, but wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there wasn't as much like stress to that sequence as there was in any other individual moment. But I do think it provides the framework for him to be telling his story to Calypso, which was obviously important. So I'm going to go... Oh, there was one that I forgot that counts as a side quest, but that is going to the underworld, going to Hades.
Hades, yes.
But, you know, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm thinking that one should be higher than number 4. But for me, the number 4 is the trip to see Cersei. where she's molding them into pigs.
Oh, that's number 4?
Yeah, I like some of the other ones better, but I thought this one was fantastic.
That was my number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead, though. Go ahead.
The different animals that you learn that she's molded people into, the look of that like kind of greeny kind of area, like probably like was like in Iceland. I don't really know. Probably wasn't actually. Now that I think about it. Anyway,
I don't know.
Matt Damon shooting the arrow at the deer. Then he comes up and he sees that it's a naked body, realizing that she must have done something to his men. And just the effect of her hands on their faces, literally molding them into monsters. Or not monsters, literally molding them into pigs, I thought was really fantastic. But Andrew, you liked it number 1, so I would like you to take it away.
Yeah, I was just super impressed with like how the transformation to pigs was done. It was pretty much all done throughout the sound first. At first, it was literally just them eating food, and then they just ramped up like pig noises, and then they gradually just cut to like more extreme pig makeup on them, and then like her taking out like the beard and everything. It was all practical, and Christopher Nolan, he's the practical king, and I thought that scene was just done so well. Maybe Cersei herself. The characterization was maybe like a little odd. I didn't fully understand like why she was acting as like strange as she was. Maybe that's a performance thing. I don't know.
I think that Cersei, for the sake of the movie, they didn't explain like all that she's been through as a character in Greek myth and legend, blah blah blah. But it makes sense more that she is scared of people and that she's also diabolically evil. If you've read the poem, however, they did not put that at all in the movie.
Yeah, so like as someone who doesn't know the story, I was kind of like, wait, why is she so like, you know?
Yeah.
But regardless, I think the transformation to pigs was just really fun, and I enjoyed that a lot.
All right, so what do you want to put at number 3?
Let's go with the Song of the Sirens.
Yeah.
It might be too low, but honestly, I was just blown away by that scene. Just the performance of Matt Damon and the actual cue, the music cue that Ludwig puts under that scene.
Oh, yeah.
And how that comes back into the Odyssey scene later on. I thought was great. And I love that, like, we don't actually hear what he's hearing. I think that was also a great move.
That was really clever. And then, like, I love that you only see the sirens from the distance. And I love the sound effect as Himesh Patel puts the
beeswax.
The beeswax in his ears. And then, like, you feel like the audio has just gone a little bit lower.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really love that one. And we also should note that we saw the movie with our good friend of the pod, Aryan.
Yes.
And he was not able to be on the pod with us today, but this was the scene that he wanted us to shout out the most. He thought the Siren Song narrative dialogue was incredibly beautiful. He even provided the full quote, which, due to legal reasons, I will not be reading on air.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just kidding. But that's also the first time we get the full reveal that Odysseus says it himself, that he doesn't want to go home. You know, the whole story, you think that's his only motivation. That's what he said is his only motivation. It's been teased by other characters that maybe he doesn't want it. But this is the time where the sirens have told him, deepest, darkest in your heart, you don't want to make it. And I just think that note to end on was like one of the best little wrinkles in the movie, because you're like, how is that going to play out later? And so for that, sirens, they get number 3.
Aryan, that was beautifully well said. Miss you, buddy. I miss you.
You're going to see him later today.
I'm acting as if he's dead right now.
Yeah, I know. All right, okay. So for my number 2, and maybe because I took your number 1, you might have wanted to put this at number 1, so I'm going to leave you with a very open spot, but I'm going The Trip to Hades at number 2. That is my personal favorite, but I wanted to make sure it got on there. I didn't want to chance it not getting on there. The Trip to Hades I thought was excellent because of the people emerging from the black sand, and it was actually Aryan that told us that they actually did bury the people in the sand and had them emerge, which, awesome, incredible commitment to the practicality, Christopher Nolan. But what I loved about that sequence so much is that it is, and this is, you know, based, as I gave credit to Homer earlier, based in the original text, is that there's very few times first of all, in real life, you would never get this, but in media, it's hard to have a character communicate with the dead where it doesn't feel cheap. And I think what happens in Hades with the Odyssey is that he's communicating with the dead, and it's kind of people he'd probably prefer not to talk to. Like, he has to talk to Sinon, who he betrayed, and Sinon is calling him out for it, like the betrayal. He has to talk to Agamemnon, the guy that made him do what he did to Troy, but he's also dead. Like, was it even worth it if the guy died immediately? That there's just like 2 characters that he has to go back to back and talk to. And I think that Elliot Page's performance as Sinon in that sequence, especially the makeup and stuff, I think also benefited, and the world that was creating. But like the gravelness to the voice, the drinking the blood, and then just the pure like, why would you do this to me? Was really fantastic, because even when Odysseus is giving the reasons of like, well, I had to, like, dying men tell the truth, you never see Sinon once believe that he did the right thing. And you also learn more about Antinous, and how he and his family never gave Sinon's family the money for going to war. So was it even worth Sinon to take the lottery system and go? And then they bring Agamemnon, who still in death is wearing his armor, which I thought was hilarious. And it's this big Darth Vader looking armor. I think the coolest armor piece of the movie. He goes in, he sits down, and then when he speaks, you realize, I mean, it's been Benny Safdie the whole time, but it's the first time he speaks, and he's got this soft-spoken voice. And you're like, oh, the armor is everything. This guy could not wield the sword. This guy is not this very threatening ruler. It's all created from the armor. That he's absolutely the false god. Like,
it's all a front.
It's all a front. And I thought that was really fascinating. And then because it's all a front, when he walked through the front door, he got killed. And it gives Odysseus the tease of what he needs to do when he gets to Ithaca. So for that's my number 2. AC has just told us that it's Antinous, not Antinous. And I will try to pronounce it correctly. But also, we have discussed at length on this podcast that words and pronunciation is not my friend. All right, Andrew, what about you for number 1?
I messed up bad. I messed up really bad. It's okay. So I should have said the storm was the 5th part, because honestly, the storm sequences were amazing, and I want to shout them out just of how like physical they felt and how real they felt. And I don't think it should be number 1, but it's definitely better than the Calypso. I'm sorry, AC, whatever those scenes were, way better. I should have done that. And I'm also thinking now, Song of the Sirens is probably my number 1. But I guess because we have to shout him out, Cyclops, which I know you're not a fan of, but I thought at that point in the movie, I think we're like half an hour into the movie, that was when I felt the movie really settled in. I think it had a very clunky beginning. You know, as someone who's not familiar with the text, I was kind of thrown around a little bit. I couldn't really grasp onto anything. I felt like I was just kind of like an observer, just like watching these like events unfold with like people who have no business about. Like I didn't really understand anything that was happening. I did, but like not like that much. But Cyclops, I felt like I was able to really lock in, and that was the first scene where Jennifer Lame, the editor, really like let it breathe, and I really felt the stakes of just seeing this huge shadowy figure, and the scream that Cyclops does at the end is so chilling and haunting, especially in an IMAX theater. It is loud as hell. It sent chills down to my bone. Cyclops number 1. Loki should have been Song of the Sirens, but gotta shout out Cyclops.
I love the look of the Cyclops, and I love the part where the Cyclops chases them out of the cave. My one thing is that I was really bothered because I thought they were speaking way too loudly in that cave for the Cyclops to not wake up. And that bothered me that entire sequence both times I saw it. But however, we don't really know what the Cyclops ears are like. It could be very authentic to a real Cyclops.
It could be.
I don't know any. I know you're a Cyclops, so you do know many.
We weren't supposed to talk about that. AC, cut that out.
But you're friends with a few. No, just kidding.
Do you mind if I add something?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yo, AC, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I really wanted to real quickly touch on the storm scenes with the boat and how all of the men get just absolutely tossed around. Just because, I don't know, in college, I was on the rowing team, which I might have mentioned before.
I didn't know that, AC.
And yeah.
Shit.
I loved it. I loved
5
it.
5 a.m. wake up calls.
Dude, yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
man.
On the Brazos at 5 a.m.
Grinding.
It was great. Dude, seeing those scenes, seeing them get smacked with those oars, I was like, I felt so hurt for those guys. Because not only did it, I think, visually sell how crazy the waters are with such a small boat in those kinds of roaring seas. And I mean, like, if it communicated that to y'all so well, I could only imagine what it was like to catch a crab and then just get knocked out. Because that truthfully, one of those guys, I forget what happens, but the oar comes back, slaps him in the head. He could have died. Like that, just like no doubt, probably dead.
And that's when Odysseus jumps down to get hit on the oars, right, in that one sequence?
Exactly. Yeah.
I really should have brought up that Charlize Theron scene because that should have really deserved a spot on that.
And also just what a wonder to have filmed. Like that's
I know,
so much of that is
incredible.
practical.
I know, and it's immersive as hell. And like you see people like jumping off the ship and everything like that. And I believe they used actual rowing. Like I think people like had to learn how to row. Like I think they were actually moving the boat by hand while they're filming that via the Peacock documentary.
Yes.
Which is it's a good watch. But amazing shout out AC. I messed up. I'm sorry for the rowing community. But
Also, before we move on to the next segment, I want to shout out the Giants, and I also want to bring up
the San Francisco Giants.
No, the Giants in the
New York
movie.
Giants.
New York Giants, sure. No, the Giants in the movie. I thought they were a really cool sequence.
Underwhelmed.
Andrew's not a big fan, but the other thing I want to say is about the rowing is that in the movie Armageddon, Ben Affleck famously asked Michael Bay on set, "Wouldn't it be easier to train astronauts to become drillers than drillers to become astronauts?" And Michael Bay said, "Shut the fuck up." It's not that type of movie. I want you to know that Christopher Nolan in the movie trained some of the actors to become rowers, not like personally, but he had them trained, and some rowers to become actors he had to train. So it was a combination of people that could act and people that could row, which is how they should have done it in Armageddon from the first place. So that's my complaint about Armageddon. Now moving on, shout out Michael Bay. I hate that guy. Moving on, we're going to do a more potentially critical one, but also some potentially very positive, is we're going to talk about the 5 biggest Nolanisms in this movie. So this is about Christopher Nolan tropes that present themselves in the Odyssey. And once again, I'm going to my guest, but this time he doesn't have to go start at 1. He doesn't have to start at 5. He could just declare which number he wants.
No, okay.
It's a non-linear fashion in the vein of Christopher Nolan.
Let's just do number 1, the audio mix of the dialogue. I feel like people have been complaining about that for every Nolan movie. I saw this movie twice, and I'm still not confident I heard every word spoken. I don't know everything that was being said. I get why he does it, because again, with the immersion, it's like if you're there in that moment, you're probably gonna actually miss some of your friends talking to you because just the waves are so loud and everything, or this monster is so thunderously loud. But I get why for a movie it doesn't really work, because you want to be able to catch all the dialogue, especially when it's important. But yeah, I think that has to be off the bat, number 1.
All right, I'm going to take number 4.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4. I'm going to go with, at the end of the movie, the main character having a fake out death and going to live alone with Anne Hathaway. This is the 3rd movie he's done this in.
Wait, what? No! Kyle warned me he was going to spoil me for Dark Knight Rises. Is that what happens?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
It's the 3rd movie that's happened with. That if in a Christopher Nolan happy ending, he's moving on with Anne Hathaway and the world's moving on without the main character. In Interstellar, they solved gravity. In Dark Knight Rises, maybe someone else is going to become Batman that would totally die immediately after the movie ends.
Oh my God. AC, did you know this, AC?
And in the Odyssey, Telemachus is going to become the king of Ithaca. And he might not be a very good king. I don't know. Conjecture. I'm not sure Ithaca's still around as a kingdom. Is it his fault? Obviously. But that's my number 4. Andrew, your turn.
All right, I'll put this at 3. So I'm leaving 2 and 5 open for us. Maybe just exposition dumps and really on the nose dialogue. We can kind of put that all together.
Law.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know if there's a part of Nolan where he just doesn't trust the audience enough to make their own conclusions, where he has to really explicitly say what's being said. I mean, I kind of appreciate that sometimes, because sometimes I'm kind of a dumb movie watcher and I want to know what's happening. But I feel like sometimes it gets in the way and it's just a little stuffy. It's a little annoying. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but
I feel like when you release Tenet, you got to start doing some explaining.
wait, AC, are you a fan of Tenet? Or
I've never seen it, but even from the people that have recollected it to me, I'm like, I'm not even following you, much less I don't know how much you got during the movie.
Yeah. But for someone who cares so much about feeling the movie and not watching it, it's why does he just put in so much dialogue that just go ahead, maybe you can make the case.
So he's given a reason for this, and you can put as much stock into this as you want to put in. But he says that his movies are so grand, they're so big, they jump around in time so much that he writes really direct dialogue. And I think there are times when his dialogue is really, really, really great. And including in this movie, the Odysseus monologue to Penelope.
No notes, 10 out of 10.
But then there's also times where the characters just say directly what they're about to do, or with the giants where they're the kid stands up, it's the giant kid, and they're like, that's a kid, I wonder where the parents are. And then the parent giants appear immediately after, where it's just so direct that it comes off as like bad. And my thing is that I'm not even trying to defend him. That's like his personal reason.
Yeah.
My thing is sometimes I think the direct dialogue just gets him scene to scene, but there are other times where it's not direct, it's just bad. Like it's just the wrong thing to do.
How many times have we heard Odysseus just be like, "But I need to go home.
Yeah.
I just want to go home." Like it's like, all right, dude, we get it. Like I don't know. Like I feel like we can tell that through your reactions or something. So I feel like Nolan, if you're listening, trust
Well, he's
your
a big
audience a little
fan,
bit more.
actually.
Big fan,
Friend of the pod.
Oh, Chris?
Yeah.
Chris.
Our buddy Chris.
Yeah, just trust your audience a little bit more. I think I think you don't have to over-explain everything to them.
Which is also fascinating because there are ways in movies where it's like an equal measure. There's a scene in his movie where you really trust the audience to put it all together, and there's a scene in his movie where he's like, "Let me explain it to you 43 times." It's actually, I think, really uneven sometimes.
It is, yeah.
Like the ending, for example, of Inception is not spoon-fed to people at all. But a lot of the rules of the dreams in Inception are gone over 9 times in a row. like just something he does. So
that was number 3.
So
we
that
have 2
gives
and
me,
5.
I'm going to take number 5.
Okay.
And this one is kind of an underrated one, but it's a character saying leap of faith. I think it's happened now in 6 of his movies. And Charlize Theron says it in this one. It's most prominent in Dark Knight Rises. But there are allusions to the idea of a leap of faith in Batman Begins, in Interstellar, in Inception, in Tenet, and in the Odyssey. And I think maybe in Oppenheimer, but I cannot confirm it. The idea that someone must take a leap of faith. And in Dark Knight Rises, it was the most literal. He has to literally take a leap, just so you know, whenever you watch it, Andrew. He literally has to take a leap.
I will never watch that movie now.
But the idea of like a lot of his movies, there's a big moment where someone says a leap of faith. It is one of his favorite phrases. All right, for number 2.
Number 2, I mean, it's not really his fault, but I think just the IMAX exclusivity of it all, of just how hard it is to see the movie the way he intended to see it. I mean, listen, anybody who saw it opening weekend knows how much of a hell it was to see it like through the IMAX 70mm. I get that it's easier to see it through like standard, but if you want to see it the way that him and Hoyt and his crew like really put like all their time into, like you want to see this on IMAX 70mm. It's not even like available for like half the world, you know.
More than half. There's, I believe, only 43 screens that can play it.
There's only 43 screens
in the world. That's really ridiculous.
Wild. Yes, it kind of creates this like exclusive, like not like a gatekeeping kind of thing, because you can watch the movie any way you want. But I just wish more people had access to that, you know. And
yeah.
I wish it wasn't like a Taylor Swift concert to get tickets for. Like that experience really soured me on the movie. Like I needed a month to cool off because I was so like upset with like how that was handled. And also, I was born with 2 things in this world, you know. I have a very small bladder, but I also love seeing Christopher Nolan movies in theaters. And those 2 things clash all the time. And, you know, I had to literally dehydrate myself to watch this movie. And, you know, it's not a Chris problem. I get it.
And we're all proud that you did.
But yeah, just I guess the length is different than the IMAX, but just how like big and long everything is. It's just like, you know, it's a little tough sometimes, but it's always worth it. Just make it more accessible.
Okay, so now we're going on to our second to last group of 5, and we're going to speed through this one. And this one's just a little bit more of like, it's like a break for all the big discussions we've been having about the movie. This one is 5 moments that would have worked well in a comedy. So we're taking a serious scene in the Odyssey, and we're just saying, but what if it was funny? We're just cracking a few jokes. Andrew, do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, number 1, chucking the dog out. Right, that was hilarious. Go ahead.
Number 1. Okay.
Did I go too fast?
No,
you want to elaborate?
That's perfect. I also agree that was hilarious. I also just think John Leguizamo, who typically and started as a comedian, is very good in this movie, and he does get a couple jokes, like at the end when he says like, "Did Odysseus win?" or whatever. And it's pretty funny, but I just think that there's so much humor and potentially a comedy version of the Odyssey where the blind companion still recognizes Odysseus from like his voice. Like Odysseus shows up and he's like, "Oh, this guy's blind. I'm in a disguise. I'll be fine." And he's like, "Odysseus, that's you, right?" And he's just like, no. So I'm sticking with the blind companion as number 2.
Beautiful. Let's do the little kid laughing in the forest as number 3. I thought them going up to him and going ha 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 ha, and just like pointing at them and laughing was really funny.
There's also my number 4 is there's a shot on Odysseus on his boat looking at his men very disappointed because he knows the prophecy and they don't, and then like he's just kind of like, "Come on guys, we can't land there," like with both of his hands. I just thought that was potentially a very funny sequence.
And number 5. starting the movie with Travis Scott is just like, I saw with Arian. Arian's a big Travis Scott guy. I was too at one point. We were just giggling like the entire time. And I feel like I honestly, I'm making a joke about it. Travis Scott, I think he actually killed his performance. For as small as it was, he brought the energy. It was electric. But I think just the presence of like the Fortnite sicko mode guy in front of you that like killed like 20 people at his concert, that was just like a little funny.
It's a very odd choice. Okay, Andrew. Now we're gonna get into this podcast. It's a lot about ranking movies. It's not often about a single movie. So we're gonna go to Christopher Nolan's whole career, and we're gonna say the top 5 scenes of Christopher Nolan's career. And this is the category I'm surprising Andrew with.
Oh my
He didn't know we were gonna do this.
Okay.
And we're starting from 5.
Wow. Okay. Can you start it off? I have to think about it.
I would love to start it off.
Yeah.
So number 5, top 5 sequences of Christopher Nolan's whole career. I'm going to go with the opening scene of The Dark Knight.
Oh my
Classic,
God, yeah.
wordless, basically.
The bank robbery.
The bank robbery.
It's too good.
It's too good. It's too good to pass up, and I'm taking it off rip. Okay, you're going for number 4.
Dude, this is like, okay. I can't even think about ranking them, but the reveal at the end of The Prestige. I think that last scene.
Since this is not a Prestige spoiler class,
I will not.
I think that we should not spoil it. Also, because I know AC hasn't seen it.
Oh, AC. I mean, yeah, I got you. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think that's a deserving number 4. Do you agree? Or
Yeah. So number 3. I'm going to go with the sex scene from Oppenheimer. No, just kidding.
You little rat pervert.
Just kidding.
Which one?
No, so I think for Oppenheimer, most people will go with the Trinity test. But I actually think the best moment is the very end, like the last 5 minutes or so, where Robert Downey Jr.'s Louis Strauss learns that he didn't get the appointment, and he smiles at Alden Ehrenreich through the end where he also realizes that Oppenheimer was never thinking about him, and it cuts to the Oppenheimer-Einstein conversation, and Oppenheimer says, you know how I told you I thought we were going to destroy the world, or the chain reaction would destroy the world, and then it does the montage of all of the bombs going off, and then it goes I believe we did, and then it cuts to What I've Done by Linkin Park over the credits.
Wait.
Just kidding. And it ends with Ludwig Göransson's perfect score. I think that to me is number 3.
God, okay. I have 2 directions I want to go. My number 1 of all time is an Oppenheimer scene, and it's not that scene. So
I think you should go, because for number 1, I'm not going Oppenheimer.
Okay. I think the moment in Oppenheimer, I think it's 10 minutes in or 20 minutes in, where he goes, "But can you hear the music, Robert?" And then it goes into that swelling montage of just to me that was the magic of IMAX. That was just seeing the screen open and close like that, and just how he used IMAX to really micro shots of just molecular explosions, and also the fact that he used IMAX cameras for just shots of Cillian Murphy's face, because I feel like when you think of IMAX, you think about these big landscapes and stuff, but he's really intimate portraits, and the way it was edited by Jennifer Lame, it is one of the most beautifully edited montage I've ever seen, and the fact that it's just in a Christopher Nolan movie is just mind-boggling to me. But I've rewatched that scene so many times. I feel bad that we just went Oppenheimer, because I know people fucking hate that movie, but
brother, that is only your friends.
All of my friends hate Oppenheimer, and when I told them I liked the Odyssey less than Oppenheimer, I got the biggest eye roll from everybody.
Oppenheimer made $950 million as a 3-hour biopic about a dude. It won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and it was the best reviewed movie of the century. But for some reason, Andrew's friends don't like it. You do not need to apologize for liking Oppenheimer.
What's your number 1, Kyle?
Number 1, we have a lot of options. We got the ending of Inception as an option. We have, for me, everything in Batman Begins. For me, we could do we could do Joker stuff at The Dark Knight. We could do the ending of Memento. We could go with a couple sequences from Interstellar, the Matt Damon cameo being, I think, most prominent in my mind, but we're not.
Wait, you just went over a lot. The fucking pencil scene in The Dark Knight, oh my God.
It could be number 1. There's a couple sequences in Dunkirk that I also really like. However, we're going to go with something from the Odyssey.
What?
We're going to go with the fall of Troy. We're going to go with The Fall of Troy from the Odyssey.
AC, tap up sound right now. Tap up sound. I'll give you a few. Take whichever one you want.
I think this sequence is why he made the movie. Because so many of his movies, and this was covered a little bit in the Nolanisms.
Wait, are you talking about like
when he's given the speech to Penelope,
oh my
and the
God.
Gorantz's scores coming in that we've referenced a few times
best
already.
scene
on
in
this
the
one.
movie by far? Yeah.
And I think that for me, this was the I interpreted this as the reason he made the movie is because so many of his films are about a character returning home, often Batman in 2 of his 3 Batman movies, to a city, Gotham, but in this movie, Ithaca, that he doesn't understand. It's different than he remembered, and he has to fix it. And then he has a number of movies that are about returning home to a dead or living wife or like a loved one. And the story of the Odyssey combines both. But in this, so in a sense that he has said it's the foundational text for everything he's made, which I agree with, seemingly by his other interests. But his other primary interest was in Oppenheimer, which is about the effect that a man can have on the world and the regrets that causes. And in this moment, he combined probably his 2 biggest cinematic interests into one perfect sequence about how the big victory that won the Greeks the war against the Trojans was actually a bad thing. And that interpretation on second watch really fixed the couple problems I had with the movie into, oh, this was what it was building to the whole time. This is what it means. And I think that that's the best composition maybe Ludwig Göransson's ever done. I think it's probably the performance of Matt Damon's career, and Hathaway's killing it too. And just the physical sequence of watching Troy burn is so intense and so epic that is everything Christopher Nolan, I think, has been trying to do on a thematic, a writing, and a scale level for his whole career. To me, that is the Christopher Nolan sequence.
You know what, Kyle? That was beautifully said. I got chills just listening to you describe that scene to me right now. AC, you better edit the fucking Odyssey song underneath that. That would go so hard if you put like the as Kyle is explaining this the intensity of the. Listen, I agree with you. The reason why I felt so just like depleted was not because of the conditions I put myself in, was because of that scene. That scene just like broke me. It was hollow. Zendaya, you know what?
Oh, I didn't even mention the twist part of that. It has a twist.
It has a crazy, it has a crazy twist. And I think Zendaya in that scene kind of won me over, like her entire performance, and like the look that she gives him, like Troy in the flashback is just so haunting. Perfect scene. I
will talk about my experience with Zendaya. I never watched Shake It Up. And then I didn't watch Euphoria.
AC, you've seen Shake It Up, right? Yeah, AC shaking his head. Who'd you like better? Did you like the orange hair girl better? Or
Bella Thorne?
Bella Thorne. I'm sorry. My apologies to Bella. AC's a Bella Thorne fan, confirmed. Okay, there we go. I was. She got what?
She's a OnlyFans now.
She is.
Yeah, that's where her career's gone. And Zendaya. It's probably the most craziest like split between 2 co-stars in a TV show ever for where the rest of their career went. However, back to Zendaya is that I didn't watch that. I didn't watch Euphoria. I thought she was really fun in the Spider-Man movies, but it wasn't until Challengers and the drama where I was like, oh, she can really bring it if necessary, because I didn't see some of her other performances that were held in highly esteemed. But I think this is like the most clear, like comical Zendaya performance in the sense of it's kind of like the first Dune movie where you only see her in brief glimpses. She's not really doing anything. But then at the very end of the movie, she gives one look that becomes iconic. It's like exactly. This is like watching Steph Curry hit a 3-pointer of her career. Yeah, it's her main move in her bag.
If she was paid out like $10 million for that role, it was all worth it for that one look at the end. Yeah, it was just, yeah.
I gotta say, it was great getting to see her have more screen time than both the Doom movies combined.
Wait, so Kyle, I have a question for you. If you were to like compare this scene to a moment in sports history, what would you compare it to?
So, in a sense, in honor of Matt Damon, we should compare this to a Boston team, but I would never do that.
You cannot. I would have left this room.
Which is not going to happen.
It would have just been you and AC.
But to me, Matt Damon is a Drew Brees-esque figure. He's never been the number one guy. He's never won the MVP, but he's always been there.
Always respected, but never like given the praise.
Yeah, and he's won a championship early in his career, but then at 39... he finishes second in MVP voting. He goes up, and he almost wins the Super Bowl.
Who do you think he loses to?
Well,
Travis Scott.
in that sense, he lost to the Rams. But I see this. I don't know. Actually, I'm comparing this too much to Matt Damon's career. I think, and by what I mean is that he's gonna get nominated for Best Actor. He's gonna believe he's gonna win it. This is his Drew Brees, and then Patrick Mahomes gonna win the MVP.
Right.
Which is what happened at the end of Drew Brees' season. But in terms of sports history, I think that this moment is maybe arguably similar to Phil Jackson returning to the Lakers.
Let's go. The comeback, yeah, because
For 2 more championships.
Because
He's already
also-
won 9 in his career.
I will say this: if that scene wasn't in this movie would be far less great. I think.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I feel
It
like I would have
brings the
left
whole
it
thing
thinking
together.
it was like a mid movie, but the fact that scene came at the right point and it made the point that it did, it brought everything together.
And then the final action scene is spectacular.
Oh my god, the adrenaline running, and you just want to see what this is. Just it delivers on all fronts. And Ludwig, you're my guy. That thumping score and the way it just gets, it keeps raising like bum 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 more and more and more as it goes on. And then Robert Pattinson,
Yeah.
amazing. I think it might be my favorite third act of a Nolan film.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think he ends it like the best he could have.
Yeah, I think it's almost perfect. I think on first watch, I thought this was in the middle of his career, and this is my final thoughts. First watch, I had 2 complaints, and I thought it was kind of in the middle of his career. I am not the biggest fan, and this is a very, very controversial take, but I'm a huge fan of the guy. But my favorite movies are more when he's in like a thriller mode, like Memento, Prestige, Oppenheimer. I would say The Dark Knight. Than when he's in a sci-fi mode. And so him in fantasy mode, I wasn't sure where that was going to land with me. Like, I like all those movies I mentioned more than like Interstellar and Inception, for example, which I know most people disagree with me on. However, on first watch, I thought I liked this more than the sci-fi ones, but now on second watch, I realized it landed pretty clearly in the upper tier. Now, I don't know if it's not my favorite of his movies, but it's very, very, it's near the top, because my 2 complaints were some of the dialogue I just think was bad. There's nothing in the sequencing of the movie and the plot structure of the movie and his direction that I think was bad, but some of those lines that he wrote were really contrived.
There's no beating around the bush. Yeah, it just is what it is.
And the second complaint I had was that Odysseus on the first watch did not seem to be that close to his men. And that really confused me, because I was watching it like they fought on the beaches of Troy for 10 years. They're Ithacans. They're on this voyage home. Why are they not more excited? Why are they not happier to start the voyage? I get that they're tired. But then when you get to the end of the movie and you learn the sequence that we just said was the best sequence of Nolan's career, or at least in my opinion, is that you look back on it on second watch, you're like, oh, he is really thinking about himself. He does not know if he even likes these guys after seeing what they did at Troy. He's like really disillusioned with life. And seeing the whole movie, my second complaint was erased. So now at the end, I have I think there was some bad dialogue. And also in the beginning, I think that he literally and just to the audience to explain this, as Andrew mentioned before, he literally maxed out the film roll. The movie could not have been any longer, because on those 70mm prints, it would have become a fire hazard. It would have become too big. It would have become too heavy to ship. Is that I sometimes wondered if they cut out a few shots and lines of dialogue.
To quote Arian, he wanted more. And you know what? I saw with all my friends, they all wanted more out of this movie. They were like groaning about the 3-hour runtime and everything. By the end of that movie, people were like, I needed more of that. And it's crazy that he can do that. I think that's a talent.
I would have loved 10 more minutes at the beginning. And
yeah, I agree.
I think I would have been perfect.
What about Whirlpool?
Oh yeah, we could have done more on the Whirlpool.
Yeah,
I also could have seen him talk to more people in Hades. It was not necessary for the story at all.
You just love that.
But
like,
I just
that
thought
world
it was
so much.
I thought it was really interesting. Also, we have gone this whole podcast. We should mention John Bernthal at least more than a joke. I think that his character and his dynamic, Lupita Nyong'o, of like they quote unquote rescued Helen of Troy from Troy, and now she's Helen of Sparta again. And she doesn't want to be there. And his like rage-filled dynamic with her being so apologetic for all the violence that happened in her name is such a fascinating dynamic that wasn't in the poem. Sinon wasn't in the poem, and Tinius's backstory wasn't in the poem, and he was actually the first suitor to die. That my other thing is that even though I complained about some of the dialogue, I think on a writing level, Christopher Nolan improved the poem. I'll just say it.
There you go.
So it's my favorite movie of the year so far.
Oh shit!
And I thought it was epic scale. I have a few complaints. I don't think it's the greatest movie of all time, but I would highly recommend it for anyone to see it and maybe see it twice.
Yeah, it's gonna go down. I think it's too early to say whether it's a classic or generational, but it just feels like one of those movies that's like, come on, this has to be like one of the greatest achievements that like we've done, right? Like yeah.
You also said early on the podcast that there's one performance you didn't like, and you never touched upon it. Who was it?
I mean, it was the Calypso.
Calypso?
Woman.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Apologies to her. It kind of felt like she was just like in like a 2026 world, like put into, I don't know, but I don't want to end on a sour note, so I'll end on someone who I really, really enjoyed. Tom Holland really won me over. In the beginning parts of the movie, I wasn't as sold on him, but towards the end, you kind of realize, oh, he was born to play this. He perfectly encapsulates like the boy turning into a man. I feel like, even though he's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And the moment where he realizes that he's staring at his father Odysseus in the third act, I thought, and he's not crying, but there's this like glaze over his eyes. That was such a touching moment. And Tom Holland, I think you got a great career ahead of you.
I think it is too. We're nearing the end of the podcast, but there's still so much more that we could have talked about. I just want to point out Argos the dog. We didn't really touch on. We didn't really talk about. I mean, I just mentioned Bernthal. We didn't talk about Agamemnon's death. There were so many things. This movie is so much that
so much
our podcast doesn't truly do it justice. But before we go, I want to share one story. It's conjecture on my part. But the reason I think Robert Pattinson is so good. Also, shout out Anne Hathaway one last time. We got to make sure that's a note near the end of the podcast.
Yeah, wait, we didn't even bring up her name once. Yeah. I mean, incredible performance.
Incredible performance. Is that during the press for Tenet, Christopher Nolan said that Robert Pattinson understood the script more than any of the other actors, but pretended he didn't know what was going on so that no one would ask him a question. Robert Pattinson responded to that in an interview with, I just didn't know what was going on. And I think that, and this is the conjecture, I think that this is why he has delivered my favorite performance in both the Christopher Nolan movies he's in, is that other people, I think, go into a Christopher Nolan movie thinking this is big, this is epic, this is serious, and he just kind of shows up, and if they're in Tenet and they're on like the subway in Mumbai, he's just going to be looking out the window. Like, his character is not playing it serious at all times. He's only playing the serious with serious, and it's so opposed to how so many other people play their characters in the movie. And I think it really adds a layer, and I think really pays off in this movie.
I think he kind of recognizes just how goofy the movie is. I mean, it's Greek mythology. It's like Matt Damon brings so much like seriousness to the role, and I think that's great for his character. But like, you need a little bit of levity or like just like a little bit of like release. I don't know. Crowd pleaser. I feel like everybody in the theater loved him too.
And I feel like I think his performance I think he's a top 3 Christopher Nolan villain for his movies. Joker's number 1.
Joker's number 1, I was gonna say, yeah.
Louis Strauss, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer number 2, Pattinson number 3. I think he's better than Bane.
Solid list.
Anyways, AC, is there anything that you would like to add?
Just as a more casual film watcher who likes Nolan films, to Andrew's comment about Holland, I went into his movie with, I wouldn't say expectations, but reservations about how much I would actually like it with, I know talk about, he says dad in a trailer, but going into that theater with no expectations, but just reservations, I came out of it with all my reservations of Holland completely killed. He did a wonderful job, and I think his pairing with Anne Hathaway and their exchanges in that movie were outstanding. I really loved the Penelope and Telemachus's exchanges. Anne Hathaway, my queen. Love her. Congrats on the baby.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
She's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Was that you, AC? Cut that out.
We cannot confirm. We can only deny.
And then like the I guess traditional more American accents, I think I was really worried about for not selling me on the immersion of the film. But hey, Nolan is Nolan. He totally sold the immersion. The actors did a wonderful job presenting an immersive performance. But I don't think we can end without having a game called Happily Ever After.
Oh,
what a segue.
So we know Nolan. We know Memento, Dark Knight, Oppenheimer. There's all of these great main characters, the protagonist. But
the protagonist from Tenet.
Yeah, exactly. we have 5 scenarios here, and we have to choose one of the characters from Nolan's filmography for this to be their happily ever after.
Okay.
So, and I, as a lover of the Epic the Musical, which is a musical based off of the Odyssey, and someone who read the Odyssey 8 years ago, I really want to bring back some of the things that they cut out. So, which main character's happily ever after would be on the floating island Aeolus?
Okay, so Andrew has not read the poem, so that's like a really cool floating island. That's
Okay, okay.
It is a genuine happy ending.
Also, wait, define happily ever after. You mean just like with like a companion?
Just like this is their ideal way to just live life.
Okay, got it.
So like a guy that just needs to chill. I'm sending Cobb from Inception to the floating island because it seems like something that Leonardo DiCaprio. It seems like something he would enjoy. You could put his kids on there, and in theory, like this island is really hard to reach. It's part of the point is that it's protected by the gods. That he would finally be away from the people that are trying to hunt him down, thinking he murdered his wife.
I'll throw in Robin Williams over there. You know, I think
From Insomnia.
Yeah, you know, I think
Isn't he the bad guy?
Yeah, but you know, listen, bad is subjective. You know, I feel like everybody needs.
I'm pretty sure he's a pedophile in that movie.
Well, good. Cast him away so he's away from the fucking kids. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Let that guy just be alone with his own perverted thoughts. We don't need him here. Yeah, that's my answer. I don't know if you.
I might have a suggestion for you. The second scenario, on the island of the Cyclops, where all the Cyclops live in caves, it's a completely lawless and unruly world. Might we send Robin Williams?
For Robin
character?
Williams. All right, Robin Williams, go hang out with Cyclops. All right.
Yeah.
See ya, buddy.
All right. So a third scenario. Who would be super down to live life with Hermes on the run?
Oh, live life with Hermes on the run. So like Dom from Inception is tired, but I feel like the protagonist of Tenet is ready to keep fighting. Like I feel like we could just put him with Hermes, and they could just have like a great like buddy atmosphere where they keep going. Like because also the guy from Tenet is like the only guy not trying to get back to his family or his dead wife or building an atomic bomb. Like he has no strings attached. He could just hang out, save the world a few times, you know?
Yeah, I also think Alfred doesn't have anything going on in his life, so I feel like, you know,
Alfred from Batman?
yeah, you know, I mean, like you know, like I mean, obviously he's got to be the butler, you know, but I, you know, I feel like he would gain perspective from that.
He'd be like the caddy for Hermes. He carries
Yeah.
a sash now with all the letters.
He got to bring a little bit of himself to this. Yeah. All right, yeah, I'm throwing him in there.
I like Alfred. Hey, a fourth one would be in Hades, but with penance. So they don't have Odysseus' mother who's in Hades in the movie. The scenario would be you get to live in Hades, but you are actually cool with all the aberrations that are left behind from you.
Oh, so you just need someone that's like cool living in like a dark room for a long time. Yeah. I feel like you got to go with Coop from Interstellar because he can handle being in a spaceship.
I was gonna say Matt Damon maybe from Interstellar. Right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
one of those.
At least
guys.
he has company.
Yeah,
Because one of the astronauts from Interstellar would probably be the best person to put there.
You put Tars in Interstellar. And the last scenario, Calypso with the lotus flower. Now this is the one change. Everything else has been
Oppenheimer needs some psychedelics.
Yeah. He needs to forget what he's done.
Soul search a little bit and like open up his mind.
He needs to forget what he's done.
Especially at the end of that movie. Ooh, jeez, what a revelation he's gone through. You know.
Yeah.
He just needs some time to. Yeah. Oppenheimer.
AC.
Go in there, Oppie.
Happily ever after.
Before we end the podcast, you got one chance. Do you want to talk about Epic the Musical?
Hey, you know, I got a couple sweatshirts. I thought about buying the tee that they put online.
What is Epic the Musical?
Epic the Musical is I forget if it's George or Jorge or how you pronounce his name, but it's a guy who adapted the Odyssey into a musical. And it takes a lot of liberties of changing things up. It has a very strong direction, and it's a very lighthearted way of perceiving the Odyssey, where Odysseus is, I think, equally, if not more so, morally conflicted with wanting to save his men, but he's kind of free of all sin, but by the end is conflicted with him becoming the monster of the story. And there's gods that are actually present that aren't just personified through lightning, but they have physical forms. And the adaptation has a lot of, I would say, game-like sound effects and sound design. I mean, it's like everything has a real funness to it. Like Hermes is a 80s disco guy. Athena is this time slowing down power that travels from Odysseus and then helps Telemachus in his own battles. And so, since I read the Odyssey 8 years ago, but I've been listening to this thing on repeat for the past year and a half, my perception of the Odyssey had completely shifted. So just to loop it back.
Did Nolan do the musical justice?
Oh, well, what a crazy way of saying it. I think he did the musical justice and more.
There we go. Beautiful.
Oh no, the Trojans. They know we're inside the horse. They're about to kill us.
No.
That means it's time to end the podcast. This is Frameway. I help you with Kyle Pendleton. Thank you to our guest, Andrew Bellomo.
Of course. See you later, Frame Raiders.
We don't have a name for them now. Oh no, AC just got shot with an arrow.
AC!
Oh no,
AC!
our greatest producer, the greatest man who ever lived is he might not be back next week. But anyways, fans, I promise you we'll do our best to stay safe. We love you and see you next week. Goodbye. This is Kyle Pendleton.
It's where the good and the bad and the ugly is a good movie.
Have a very nice August, everybody.
Dating the podcast right at the end. Is that your goal?
Yeah.